2021 finally has its first video game release. Let's talk. What up, viewers? What up? What up? Calc Soups here, and today is Friday, January 22nd, and that means it's time for a quick recap of the week in video game news. Like I said in the cold open, we have our first official video game. I'm not counting Scott Pilgrim because that was kind of a re-release, and we'd known about that, and it was kind of pushed out. Anyway, this week we have Hitman 3 launched on January 20th, which was Wednesday. If any concept of time still matters. Hitman 3 launched this week. It's actually gotten really good reviews. I'll have a link down to kind of a review roundup below. But it's got an 88 Metacritic, and I think that's really good. I mean, for anybody who's watching this for the first time, I usually have a good cadence. I always look at Metacritic, and I have a good cadence of at 90, 90 or above, this should be a game that you should play, no matter what. Like any type of gamer would probably enjoy a 90 up rated Metacritic game. For Hitman 3 being at 88, you're right around there. If you're into the stealth action game, Hitman's got a long, legacy of pretty good games. I was actually looking at the kind of modern Hitman series and how it's kind of progressed. It came out in 2016 with this kind of episodic. And it seemed like a good concept, but the execution wasn't well done. With just releasing a contract a month at a time, and there's the whole episodic angle, which you can look into is not often the best way to release titles. So that didn't work. Hitman 2 suffered from a little bit of confusion around whether or not it would also be episodic, or people were just kind of waiting around for it. But Hitman 3's here, and it reviewed very well. So this one's kind of gone a little bit more open. There's a lot of more versatility, and it's just a lot more kind of a sandbox for you to play around in, which is something I think the Hitman series has been kind of really geared towards. The way the contracts work and all that kind of stuff in the Hitman games, kind of if you just leave it open and let people kind of explore, I think you'll have a good kind of experience with that. So I'm looking forward to getting my hands on it. I'm excited for it, and I hope you are too. Let me know if you pick it up, what you think down below in the comments. Moving right along, big bomb dropped this week in gaming news. There was a Resident Evil showcase yesterday, and just a good half an hour long of just focusing on Resident Evil content and what's coming out for Resident Evil. They started off with news about what everybody wants to know about Resident Evil 8 or Resident Evil Village. I think it's just called Resident Evil Village, but they've highlighted the 8 part, so I still want to call it Resident Evil 8, even though they don't want me to. But I'm still going to call it that. Turns out the game is still in first person. They showed off 10 minutes of gameplay. It's still in first person. It's a little bit brighter than Resident Evil 7, which really got me into the series. The first person part is really encapsulating. This game is a bit brighter, and so I'm wondering if we're gonna lose a little bit of that kind of survival horror scary part, because it's just a little bit more brighter, and the villains are kind of a little bit more in your face. Eventually Resident Evil 7, I might have a little bit of rose-tinted glasses. Resident Evil 7 eventually kind of gets to the point where it turns a little bit more actiony. But I really appreciated the earlier parts of Resident Evil 7 where it was just kind of creepy and eerie and just gross. And I don't know how much of that you're going to get. But they did show off the kind of big bad guy, vampire lady. I don't know if she, that's what the internet's calling her, but I don't know if she actually has a name. All in all, Resident Evil Village is coming out May 7th. So, happy birthday to me. That's the day after my birthday. So looking forward to playing Resident Evil when that comes out. They also talked about a multiplayer game, Resident Evil, or I think it was Re::Verse, which is kind of fun for Resident Evil to always play on the Re part. But Reverse was a multiplayer game. It looked a little bit less polished. It just kind of looked like you were running around in a Resident Evil game, just kind of shooting at other players. I've never kind of thought the third-person shooting was really good or handled very well in kind of the Resident Evil games. So this kind of hit me from kind of left field, but hoping that, you know, get a more polished, or once I get my hands on it, it'll feel a little bit better than it looks. But right now, I'm a little skeptical on it. Moving right along, Fortnite is doing crazy things. They get all the IPs and whatever IP they want. So in their season of Hunters, they have now introduced Sarah Connor, and I really wonder whether or not everyone says Sarah Connor with an Austrian accent, with an Arnold Schwarzenegger accent. You just can't not say Sarah Connor. But they also put the Terminator in Fortnite, so I saw a little bit of gameplay of them running around. I'll have a link down below to kind of the trailer for that. But yeah, the IPs have started to come packaged in wholesale, with Kratos and all that kind of other good stuff that's coming with the kind of Fortnite season pass and what they're doing with each season. So yeah, I just, it's all a marketing bit to get more and more eyes and get all the Fortnite crowd to, think more about kind of these IPs, and I think it's working for them. So I'm excited to see Sarah Connor in Fortnite. Tell me what you think. New Zealand permanent resident and Valve founder Gabe Newell was in an interview this week talking about kind of some of the projects that they're working on. So we can all agree that Half-Life 3 has been confirmed, because Gabe Newell says that they're working on projects. He wouldn't answer any questions about Half-Life 3, and I can't imagine why. And it's not like the internet has pestered him for the last decade about Half-Life 3 or anything. But yeah, Gabe Newell's he's kind of stayed on permanent residence in New Zealand since since right around when COVID hit. And they talked about moving some studio members down there. But he just wanted to confirm that they're still working on games, which kind of led me to the question of, like, does Valve make games? But I'm mostly just joking about that, but it's just kind of fun to poke at them. Yeah, I think they say that, based on the success of Half-Life Alyx, they're really excited to get back in the arena of making games. And so I hope that we see some fruits of kind of what he was talking about at some point in the near future. We've been following the story around Codemasters. Last week, I think I reported on how a couple weeks ago it was originally that Take-Two was going to buy Codemasters. Last week, EA had made an offer, and like that started to get, and then Take-Two took their offer off the table. EA's purchase has gotten a thumbs up from all the directors at Codemaster. So we now know that the price of $1.2 billion for Codemasters to be taken into EA. I thought Take-Two was kind of a good merger because kind of the sports and racing kind of fit well together. EA, I wonder, this one seems like more of a growth into a different area than EA usually participates in. So less vertical and more of a horizontal merger in my mind. But 1.2 billion isn't to the Microsoft buying Bethesda levels, but still a pretty penny for some of these big companies. So really interesting to see how that's progressing, and what EA is going to do with kind of Codemasters and their not entirely, but mostly kind of racing portfolio that they've kind of built out. Speaking of big gaming companies, Tencent, the world's largest gaming company because of their investments in all of the gaming companies across the world, they have gotten just a little bit bigger by buying out a relatively small gaming studio, Klei, Klei, the studio behind Don't Starve and its several iterations, was purchased by Tencent. I didn't have a price on what the studio went for, but Tencent is again just slowly expanding their empire. They gaze upon everything and own it all. So pretty interesting to see them kind of pick up kind of this smaller but pretty well known. Don't Starve has done a lot of good work on kind of expanding its footprint and making a big noise and making a lot of ruckus around the gaming sphere. So I salute them for that, and good job on Tencent looking to see how that kind of integration will work out. Apple has decided to throw its hat into the ring with they will be working on and I'm quoting the article, an expensive VR headset. So there's still speculation on what this will look like. Pretty interesting to get. I don't know that the VR space is completely over and done with, but it seems a little late in the game to start kind of throwing your hat into the ring. But Apple is known for kind of innovating and building off of currently existing technology. So it'll be interesting to see what they do in the VR space, and I'm kind of excited to see what they are. VR is kind of that kid over in the corner that I kind of check on every once in a while. So pretty interesting to see what's going on there, but I think going the expensive way is definitely not the way. I think the reason that the Oculus Quest and Quest 2 have kind of gotten the biggest share of the VR pie is because they've gone the cheaper way and the unattached way, which I think Apple will probably be able to figure out. They've got some pretty smart engineers over there. And I don't know how this will kind of integrate. Will it be an accessory for the iPhone, or will it be its own standalone kind of thing, kind of like an Apple Watch or something like that? So interested to see what goes on there, but I do think it's kind of weird to do it late in the game and go the expensive route rather than kind of the cheaper route. Xbox is making a lot of splashes this week by increasing the price of Xbox Live, which starts a lot of questions around that of like what's Live and how's it different from Game Pass, which some people don't know the answer to. Live is their kind of monthly subscription that gives you access to like online play. It also gives you the free game, 2 free games every month, as opposed to Game Pass, which is a monthly subscription, which gives you access to streaming video games, a large library of streaming video games online. Xbox Live went from $10 a month to $11 a month, and the $3 the 3-month pass also went up to $35 for 3 months, as opposed to I think it was $30. So, but the $60 6 months or $120 12-month it still exist. It's just those lower increments have slightly increased. As you know, a lot of the backlash I'm seeing about kind of PS Plus versus Xbox Xbox Live. See, I can't even all these different things get mixed up in my head versus Game Pass versus Xbox Live. I'm waiting for the day when they're just both combined. But for now, we just have to sit here and compare PS Plus, PS Now, Xbox Live, Xbox Game Pass. Like, it's all kind of confusing, but Xbox Live increased in price, and people were kind of complaining about that this month. Or this week, actually. Destiny 2 is finally flipping the script. They have, in the next season, they talked about how their new engrams will now allow you to choose, allow players to choose what they want to get out of them, which is completely different from what people have had previously. I'm pretty sure any Destiny fan can tell you about taking engrams to the Cryptarch and getting very shitty stuff and stuff you don't want to see, all the crap you don't want. You have 5 of one thing and 0 of the other. So finally, they're giving players the option to kind of pick which rewards they want. I assume because Destiny's got a large plethora of kind of content and games and guns, that this will finally allow people to kind of pick and choose what they want. And people have probably been asking this for a long time. I'm wondering if some of this comes from the kind of split away from Activision, is now they're able to make a few of their own choices, or if they're just listening to the community and this is something the community's been asking for a long time. But like I said, everyone's got those horror stories of turning in engrams of the Cryptarch and getting, and going all the way back to Destiny 1 of turning in a purple engram and getting a blue. So they're finally fixing some of this. So that's excited to hear. Immortal Phoenix Rising, also known as Gods and Monster, the Greek mythology open world game coming from Ubisoft, is doing a partnership with the Netflix anime Blood of Zeus, which is coming up in the next, it's coming out soon. which is also about kind of the Greek pantheon. There's a partnership. There's an in-game event happening in Immortal Phoenix Rising, and I'm wondering if the partnership's going to be both directions, where maybe during, I don't know that Netflix advertises, but maybe this will unlock, I don't know, marketing dollars or something like that, and Netflix will be posting about like, hey, if you enjoyed Blood of Zeus, you can also play Immortal Phoenix Rising. So I expect some of that to kind of come out from this partnership, but for now, all we know is that Immortal Phoenix Rising will be having an event associated with the kind of launch of the Netflix anime Blood of Zeus, which I think actually looked pretty good. And just like everybody, every kind of slightly nerdy person in the world, I enjoy the Greek mythology and the Greek pantheon. So excited to see more and hear more, and maybe potentially experience it in game on Immortal Phoenix Rising. So excited to hear more about that. Last but certainly not least, and slightly less video game related, Microsoft has patented a new chatbot AI technology that will take people's online personas, potentially if they are no longer with us, and convert those into chatbots that you can actually interact with using their artificial intelligence kind of mainframe. This sounds a lot like the Black Mirror episode where, in season 2, where you have the woman who wants to talk to her dead husband, and then she makes a whole bot to look and feel like him and talk like him, just so she can interact with him. But this whole thing kind of has I don't know if this is reality parodying fiction or the other way around, but Microsoft is patenting this kind of weird technology. So kind of let me know what you think. I definitely don't feel like my online persona or just my tweets or anything like that really reflect me necessarily as a person, as much as I like to talk and interact with people. I do it differently when I'm online. So let me know what your chatbot would be like down in the comments. But yeah, that's such a weird concept. I had to bring it up. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy this content. If you do, follow, like, and subscribe to me on YouTube and Twitch. You can see more great content like this. Links down below in the description. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a super day. I hope you have a super weekend. And I hope you have a super day. Bye!